We are John and Miriam. We may live along the Virginia coast, but for the next few months, we will again call the road our home. We plan to ride our Am Spyder to the Pacific coast and back, over 7,000 miles through 16 states. We are calling this trip a lap around America. We know this odyssey will offer up its full serving of adventure, scenic beauty, along with the standard dose of challenges. But that's what we signed up for.
Good morning. It's day 3. Already starting to lose track of time. We're in Charleston, West Virginia. Today's goal is to make it over to the area of Lexington, Kentucky. We have an Airbnb reserved. Short day, under 200 miles. Had a pretty restful night's sleep. Got in yesterday for whatever reason. Really tired. I think it was just a combination of getting my travel legs back, and anyway, restful night, ready to hit it again today. But last night, an unusual occurrence. Well, from my perspective, it sounds like a Greyhound bus being driven through our hotel room. I was laying in bed asleep and I heard this awful crash. Woke me up, and of course I reach over and see if Miriam's still there. She's not there. What in the world has happened? So I call out for her. She's not there, and I make my way to the bathroom, because it's not a very big room, as you can see. It's a standard hotel room. And Miriam, where are you? And the lights are all out. She goes, I'm in the bathtub. And I'll let her explain. Miriam, tell us about your encounter with the bathtub.
Riding a little rough this morning. You know, travel is not always idyllic.
Sometimes travel is not pretty.
Sometimes it's hazardous. You know, got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and didn't want to turn on the lights because didn't want to wake John up, didn't want to, rouse myself, wanted to be able to get back to sleep. It was about 3:30. And so I'm navigating in this new space and walk into the bathroom, and I guess my navigation was off, and by reaching my hand around and nothing being there, it threw my balance off, and the next thing I know, I had fallen. And what's funny is John yells to me, "Where are you?" just as I'm realizing, to my surprise, I'm in the bathtub, not where I expected to be. And I hit my head, on the tile and kind of jarred my neck, and so embarrassing. And got up, realized I had a knot in the back of my head, but I'm okay. I'm not so fragile that I can't take a knock like that, but I know it worried him, and he's given me tests to make sure I'm not concussed, and I was fine. But anyways, just wanted you to know that you just have to roll with the punches, or the cracks on the head, as it were.
And of course, my instincts kick in, and I'm immediately triaging her, putting lights in her eyes, checking for pupil dilation and reaction, and checking for dislocated bones, broken bones, dislocated joints. And fortunately, everything was good. We were able to go back to bed and show an order. But in retrospect, it was funny. But I'm still trying to figure out, at 3 a.m., why are you in the bathtub with no lights on? Ready to get going? Let's do a comm check. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yep. Comm check complete. And clear prop. Helps turn the master switch on. Tire pressure textbook. Coming up on.
Yep. It didn't take us long to breeze through the rest of West Virginia. The hill country, huh?
Actually, West Virginia is the largest state in the Union.
The largest state in the Union? How do you figure?
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, it's all crumpled up like an accordion, but if you were to spread it all out, it'd be bigger than Alaska.
Boy, industrial area ahead.
Big sandy river. This must be the border.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to Kentucky. Are you going to give me a hand stop?
Wait. Kentucky. Wait a minute, let me get out of the construction zone. don't want to run over a worker.
Unbridled spirit, that's Kentucky's motto. I feel like we didn't get to see much of West Virginia. What did you like most about the ride? A lot of construction.
Done with it? The roads.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, it's just construction and curvy. And you know, I hear somebody say, you know, I rode the tail of the dragon. Really? I rode 64 through Charleston. And they go, wow, you're the man.
I would like to go back to the New River Gorge National Park.
Yeah.
It was pretty through the mountains. And the hotel was in kind of an industrial area, but it was comfortable and quiet.
Except for the bus that crashed into the room at 3 a.m.
Yeah, they need to put bumper pads in the bathtub, apparently.
Yeah. The joys of collecting birthdays.
Oh, well, what do you do? All right, how many miles to go?
Today? 132. Me too.
And action.
Well, we're here in Stamping Ground, Kentucky, and it's a small town. I'm not sure what the population is, small farming community, and it's got kind of an interesting history. It was originally called Herndonsville. It was founded at the end of the 18th century. But believe it or not, there were actually bison who roamed this area, particularly around here where the spring is located. They would come to drink. And because the herd of bison would come through here, they kind of beat down the vegetation to make it like a bald basin. So they renamed the town Stamping Ground because it was the bison's stamping ground. And so in 1814 there was a tannery here to cure the hides of the bison, and then later, about 1869, after the Civil War, the distillery, Buffalo Springs Distilling, was founded here, and it ran for about 100 years until 1968. And so it's just a cool town. This is our accommodation in Stamping Ground. It's an Airbnb that's located in the former office of Buffalo Springs Distilling. The distillery, as mentioned earlier, ran for about 100 years. The actual distillery has been torn down, unfortunately, and on its site stands...
We all need another Dollar General store in our lives. I'd rather have the distillery.
It is a terrible shame. But it's also important to understand we use the word buffalo and bison interchangeably. Buffalo Springs, Buffalo Trace Distillery, but actually bison is the proper term in North America.
What do they want to be called?
I don't know what they want to be called.
Well, don't you think it's really their decision?
We'll have to ask them.
Alrighty. Heading down to Maker's Mark. Bourbon. Here. Alright. No, I mean, I'll like a right turn right here. Well, we should have a good day today. Temperature should be in the high 60s, low 70s. No chance of rain. Oh, and whatever I was battling, I think I'm recovering. Yeah, it's just as good to get it out of the way early. When we're still in the part of the country that, you know, I love America. The geography, the people, the culture, of course I do. I'm an American. Anyway, but I spend so much time in the deciduous tree environment like we see here. It's gorgeous, but I see it all the time. And I'm looking forward to getting into the Great Plains, the desert, the mountains. Our goal today is to make it over to Maker's Mark, and we're going to connect with Jim and Betsy, our friends who we vacationed with in Montana last year at the Blue Ridge Parkway back in 20. And then
gosh, Hilton Head a couple years before that, and the Smoky Mountains a couple years before that. So great travel folks, good friends. And of course, we visited their home a couple years ago when we went down to Alabama. Well, this is different. This is oh, look at that old house there. If you notice anything strange about this road, it's one lane. What's going to happen if we meet somebody coming head on? The shoulder drops off on both sides. One lane bridge. Of course it's a one lane bridge. It's a one lane road. This is uncomfortable because I don't know how to deal with an oncoming car. We are going to pull in here and have us well, we're going to meet up with Betsy and Jim. This is our rendezvous point with them. Our Airbnb. We were staying at Airbnb so much I'm thinking they're all Airbnbs. We're staying at a bed and breakfast, which is about 3 miles away. We're going to have lunch, take a tour, and yep, catch up. So I have never been to a real high-end distillery before. All the ones that I've been to are like just little pop-up things that are relatively new. And if you're familiar with bourbon, bourbon has got to stay in the oak barrel for a very long time to really give it good flavor. So those are the distilleries that have been around for a long time. And although Maker's Mark is not my go-to bourbon, I think that may change after this trip, because I will experience some new flavor profiles. In case you're wondering, sampling bourbon on the back of a Spyder. Nope, Spyder's getting parked, and we will be traveling with a designated driver.
Tonight I leave familiar for the great unknown. Got a couple broken arrows and my hair is grown since you saw me last, talking on an old flip phone. Today I shed the skin of who I used to be. Got Sinatra on a 45, I'm buzzing like a bee. Just hoping you'll come fly with me. Georgia, then a rental up to May.